Come on in. All right. Congratulations for being here. Glad to have you with us. My name is Jim Tanner. I'm going to be your host today. It's Monday, September 25th, 2023. We've got noon Eastern, 9 o'clock a.m. Pacific. Whole bunch of math you can do for the other area of time zones if you'd like to. There's probably some of you that are just, hey, you're waking up, it's Paris, France, and you said, I'm just gonna do it. I'm with them today. For those of you, bonjour, and wherever else you are, glad you're here too. So we've got a heck of a lineup for you. We're gonna be talking about a lot of great stuff, and we're gonna be sharing information about how to make the most of your Legal Shield business when it comes to serving the business community. That's why we're here today. So you're gonna hear some other voices as well, and we're gonna start with my good friend, Mr. Johnny Jones, who's gonna jump on. He's got some great information for all of us. So I wanna make sure that you have a pen and paper for this whole meeting today, because we're gonna be giving you dates, and of course you can do screenshots as well, but I've got a flyer for Mr. Jones here that I'm gonna put in the chat. We've got a lot of great information for you. I don't want you to miss any of it. And Mr. Johnny Jones, this gentleman is a trainer and expert in serving the needs of small businesses in every community. We're just so excited to have you here with us today. And we'd love to hear your thoughts about what's going on in the community and then your big training that you've got coming up as well. Over to you, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the invitation. And I love coming on to events like this and getting to work with people one-on-one, because I think that, people learn better in this environment sometimes than in a classroom environment, because it's more interactive. You can ask questions and it's a smaller group, so you can actually personalize a lot of what you say. The one thing that I'm finding is I'm talking to people that people struggle with their belief in whether they're good enough. They say, well, I'll go talk to this person, but I don't know if I want to talk to a business owner because I don't think I'm ready. And I'm going to be the first to tell you, you know more than you need to know to talk to them, to at least say, because if you know your name and you know how to say hello, you know how to walk in and talk to a business owner. That's why that part is such an important thing. The one thing that I tell people all the time, and when I train them, is the next step for you is to learn the membership. But you don't learn the membership so you can talk about it. You learn so you can answer questions. So you should understand the membership. So you should know how to go find the membership. You can go find the contracts. You can go find all the marketing materials that have things on it, the proposals, because there's a proposal for each one of the memberships. So you can study those things to understand how it works. Plus, once you know the membership, you know what questions to ask people. So it's a big deal to actually spend some time learning the membership. You got to learn your craft so you can be good at your craft. In networking, you don't have to be as polished because they got videos and the whole system is about the videos. But in small business, you got to be a little bit polished. You got to kind of feel like, because people might like what you're saying, but if they don't feel like you're the one, then they'll skip you to go find somebody that does what you do. So you got to be polished. You got to know, you got to make sure you look the part, make sure you sound the part when you're talking to people. The one thing that we do in the Small Business Council, we decided there needed to be 2 trainings. And so the second Tuesday of every month, it's always going to be on product. They're going to talk about all the products related to small business. So you can go learn the product. And I would say take it over and over. Melissa Peters has done a training on in the masterclass. So go into your back office, go to the training tab, go to masterclass, and go find the ones that she has done specifically for small business. So it'll give you the education that you need for small business. And the last Tuesday of the month, which is tomorrow, that's the flyer he talked about, that's going to give you the ability to learn the other things, how to present, how to prospect, sometimes mindset, how to have the right mindset. So we're going to focus a little bit on mindset tomorrow when we do the training. We're going to talk about what it looks like to be professional. So a lot of times people just jump on a Zoom and they're not understanding that your appearance, sometimes if that's the first time people see you, is the only impression that you may have to give that person. And do they come across thinking that you will take good care of them? Or are they looking at you like, oh my God? So you want to make sure that you do those things. I talk about email. Do you have a good signature in your email? Or do you just kind of have something there? When people, a lot of time when associates are reaching out to me and they want me to answer some questions, they never have a phone number in their signature. So how am I supposed to reach you? And if I can't reach you, how are your prospects supposed to reach you if they have your email? So if you have your email on your business card, you should have a good signature with that. So there are things that we're going to talk about related to that. We're also going to talk about the mindset you kind of have to have when you're doing business to be unstuck. Because sometimes people don't realize there's so many resources out there for you. So while you're sitting there stuck saying, I can't move forward, I don't know what to do, we have a lot of resources in small business. Do you realize that every single day there is a presentation that you can invite somebody to Monday through Friday? And on Monday through Friday, they have a membership one. And that membership one is specifically for the membership for small business. That's all it talks about. Then there's also, like currently right now, at this time, every day, there is one for the opportunity. It talks about the membership and the opportunity in small business. So that's Monday through Friday. And then on Saturday morning, we also do one. And Thursday night, we also do one. So there are 7 different ones for the opportunity and 5 for the membership that are available every single week. So write down this email, this website, smallbiztraining.info. smallbiztraining.info. That's a Dropbox that the council has set up to have all of our materials in there for everybody. And I see Mr. Tanner put it in the chat as well. But that's what and the reason why we created that is we wanted to make sure you had a resource where you could go and find things quickly for small business. Because in LS Engage, it can be quite confusing. Even when you go to small business tab, some of the things that are small business are not under that tab. They're under business solutions. They're under networking. They're not in one place. So we put it in one place. So there you'll find applications. You'll find flat sheets, but not every flat sheet, just the basics. You'll find how to onboard your new small business members. Wouldn't you like to know how to do that? So not only do we have the masterclass for Melissa when she taught that, but we also have some of the flyers that she talked about. We have presentation materials. So if you're doing a presentation, we have a 1-page flash sheet that you can use to present to somebody for just small business. We also have a presentation that's 5 slides just for small business if you're doing it on Zoom. Or you can do that one in person. And we actually have the opportunity overview that we use that's available there. And we have the membership one that the council uses Monday through Friday for just the membership. So we have all those different types of presentation. And if you don't know how to do it, there's 2 videos there to teach you how to do it, that show you specifically what it could look like, because we want to make sure you're fully informed. We also have training. So we have technology trainings, because we realize in small business, technology is important, right? So if you don't know how to use your apps, you don't know how to use LS Engage, we want to make sure you know how to use that. So we have those things available to you there. And we also have one for the small business. So all the small business trainings that we do that don't include the product are available there. So we have all the way from this time last year, all the way till tomorrow's will be in there tomorrow. So we'll have all those. So you can go back and review the different ones. You're going to find one of the themes that happens is they're very similar. The reason why, if you keep hearing different information every time you go and it's all scattered, you don't really know how to understand what to do. But if you see a consistency that we're not shifting what we're talking about, and it just may be tweaked here or there, then you'll start to understand what's important, how to learn it. Repetition is everything. So if you keep hearing the same thing over and over, you'll get better and better at that. So we make sure we have that there. The calendar's there. So when you go in there, the calendar is right there. And we update the calendar every single month when it changes. So all you have to do is go there. If you want to know what we're doing, go there. And I tell people, even above the calendar that Legal Shield provides, this calendar is specific to small business. All the small business events, all the small business times, all the small business links are there. So you can see everything that you need to see. The last thing I'll talk about is resources. So you got to have resources too, right? What a lot of people do is so in network marketing, it's about we. And as an employee, it's about I. So as an employee, you have to figure it out, and you have to figure out where you're going to go, who you're going to talk to, and why you got to talk to them. In network marketing, it's we. So there's always a bunch of people that know something you don't know that can actually help you. So if you want to learn something, obviously you go to your Upline, you can go to your Platinum, but you can also go to places like the Small Business Council. We're always all over the place. You know, you'll see for the Small Business Council, we typically will post emails and phone numbers, and we're easy to reach. Every training I do, I say, here's my email address. If you have a question, reach out to me. I'd rather you get that question answered right then than to have to wait weeks or months and your business slow down because you didn't have the answer to that one question. So we make sure we do that. The one thing that I ask, though, if you send me an email, make sure your phone number is in that email, because I will call you. Because if I see your email and I'm driving, I'll say, hey, Google, call this number, and I will call you right then. Anybody that's ever sent me an email will know that I will respond within the hour, sometimes within the minute. So it gives you Google just turned on. Hey, Google, I didn't want you. So Google just turned on my phone. It was listening. It's nosy. It does what it's supposed to do. But we want to make sure that everybody has the opportunity, because I truly believe small business is the best thing that the company has ever done. And the reason why is it opens every other door. If I go and I talk to you about small business, I can also talk to you about protecting your family. I can also talk about protecting your employees. So I can do everything from small business. And, a lot of times it's natural in small business to ask, can I protect your family? In the networking side, it's not natural to ask, can I protect your business? Because you don't know if they have a business, and people tend to not ask that question. So I believe small business gives you the ability to do everything. But here's the secret that corporate doesn't want you to know. It has the best commission plan. In 5 minutes, you can make more money in small business than you can do anything else, because group, it takes a lot longer than 5 minutes. In networking, you can do the same thing, but it's a smaller compensation plan because it's a smaller premium. But in small business, you can make more money like that. And I love it. So when I do the presentation, I'm telling people that from $70 to $370 for the personal plan, or $198 to $1,048. Well, which one sounds better to you? Because when I sell this to prospects, they always want to know about the second one. How do I do the second one? How does that fit into me? Now, understanding that there's multiple plans within that range, but we always pick the best one first, and you can figure out which one they need from there, but it's still good money. You can actually, in small business, be Performance Club in 1 to 2 plans. So imagine if you're running for something, you can actually be 1/7 of the way to senior director just on one plan. That means you sell 6 more and you're senior director by yourself on your own pen with small business. It's harder to do that in any other part of our business. So I love the ability to do that. Now, I'm not telling you not to do anything else. I'm just telling you what my heart is, and my heart is in small business. Plus, do you realize that if you help small business, if you out there and you help a small business, you're helping your community. You know why? Because most of them have employees. So if you help them keep their doors open, the employees still have somewhere to work. If you help them have somewhere to work, you're helping your economy, the economy across the entire country, and you're helping it in your community. And so that mission is something I talk about all the time now, because if we're able to impact our community that way, and you're a giver like I am, and you're, the well personality trait, it can't be better than that mission. Now you have a mission to attach yourself to. Of course, the compensation plan helps as well, but it gives you a mission where you can truly have a say in your whole economy. Instead of helping one household at a time, you might be able to help 10 households or 20 households just by having that one conversation. So I love what small business gives us the ability to do. And I love the ability to do that. But if you're not sure about what to do, what to say, how to say it, email me. My email is simple. I'm going to put it in the chat just to make sure that everybody has it. Melissa Peters always says, well, why do you give out your email? I said, because most people don't use it. I can give it up to 1,000 people. There'll be 5 people that use it. So y'all could prove me wrong, but I'm gonna put it in here just because I truly believe with all my heart that we're making a difference, that this is gonna be the best year that we've ever had in this fourth quarter. I think more people are gonna win than we've ever seen win before. I think more people are gonna get elevated, rank advance, rings. I think more things are gonna happen in this fourth quarter. And I believe that if you just use the resources that are available to you, you can have access to everything you want in this business. Before I came into this company, I wanted to be a person that could help small businesses. I wanted to have an impact in that community. I didn't know Legal Shield offered that. It took me about 3 or 4 years before I even heard we had a small business plan. And then after that, it took me a little bit longer to move into that. But once I moved into that, now they can't get rid of me. I'm not going anywhere because I truly believe that this is the best thing that we've ever done. And I'm typing slow, but I'm putting it in the chat right now. So everybody today, you will have no excuses. If you have a question about small business, you have no excuses that you can't get an answer. And I won't promise you I may answer it on the first wave. I may have to call you back, say, okay, I got the question. I understand now clarity. Now I'll call you back with the answer. And it may take that. But I think this is the best thing that we have. And I love that what Mr. Tanner is doing, because he's giving people a format where you can come in and get connected with people for small business. So you can come in and learn about all the things that are out there. Because if you truly, and no excuses, I just did a training on no excuses. You have to dump out all the excuses. So what does that mean? You got to first forgive yourself and give yourself permission to launch. You got to give yourself permission to go after it. You got to give yourself permission, because we're the number one reason why we don't do what we need to do is because we haven't given ourselves permission yet. And then you got to be okay with failing. See, a lot of times, Melissa, she did a training 3 weeks ago, and she said she keeps a failure journal. She said, because millionaires and successful people fail every day. They said that's the only way you're doing something is you fail every day. And if you're not failing every day, you're not doing anything. That's what she said in that training. So I can say, and I quote, so if you're not failing every day, if you're not going out there trying something new, you're not pushing yourself, then you're just part of the audience. It's time to get on the field. It's time to go. NFL players are going right now. They get paid well because they're going. Are you out on the field? Are you putting yourself positioned to get paid well? Because this business pays you extremely well. And so Legal Shield Associate, I guess I got to finish it right. .com. There you go. That is my email address. You can reach out to me anytime. My email address works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't shut down. It doesn't turn off. I don't promise to call you 24 hours a day, but it does work 24 hours a day. So it gives you the ability to reach out to me and reach out with the question. There's no such thing as the dumb question, except the question that's not asked. That's the only dumb question you ever have, is the one you don't ask. So ask whether it's a small question or a large question, and let's go out there and let's go win big together. And with that, Mr. Tanner, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Listen, so I don't even know what to say. When you're done, I usually I don't know, what am I going to say after he talks? It's just so great. I just love your passion. I love that you know exactly what to do and how to do it. And then you can also break that down and communicate it to people that don't know exactly how to do it yet, that don't have the expertise that you've gained over the years, and that you can help people move faster to acquire that information and knowledge than it took you to get it yourself. So we're so grateful for you. We appreciate you so much. And we'll see you on the training. Many of us will see you in Dallas, Texas next week.
Yep.
At the big fall event. So we're excited to see you there as well. And maybe, we were talking before we let everybody in about the power of that event. Maybe you'd like to share a few thoughts about why people should rearrange their schedule and be with us in Dallas. If I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I know you got a great outfit.
No. Melissa Peters got me ready for these things. She already said you go be ready for every environment you go to, whether you expect to be or not. And the thing I will tell you is this: every year, typically, they have an event where they invite people to come in. Sometimes it's exclusive, meaning only the platinums can go, Millionaire Club members can go. Sometimes it's more for everybody. But here's the thing that I know. They just had a big meeting in New York. They're talking slowly about all the new money that they released. Do you know that if you're a senior director, they just released $21 per membership to you as an override? That's just one of the many things, but that's probably not the best thing that they've done. That's just the one we know about. So I would tell you want to go to Dallas because, number one, it gives you a chance to hear the information first. It gives you a chance to ask questions about the information to the people in the room. Other people that don't go to Dallas, and I know some people just won't be able to go to Dallas, but they can't ask questions for clarity because they won't have access to the people that are in the room. When I asked, every Millionaire Club member that I've talked to is going. That's a clue for me, because where there's smoke, there's fire. And you go to where there's smoke, I see all the smoke happening. So you want to go there so that you can be there to hear. But here's the other side effect of that. There's a lot of people we see on Zooms all the time that you get to meet in person. So if you see me, for instance, come shake my hand. If you come, see other people, go and meet them. Go get in their space so that they can see you. Because here's the thing that I learned from Melissa Peters. They're watching who comes up to them at these events. Because first of all, they know you're at the event. Number two, they're understanding that if you ever come to them later and you want to work with them, they'll work with you because you're plugged in. Now, if you're not in Dallas and you're asking for help, it's different than when you're in Dallas and you're asking for help. So go there because you don't know who you're going to meet, whose card you're going to get, whose card you can give, and they see your face and they see your passion because you're there. Even if you don't know why you're going, just still go because you'll come back knowing why you're going and you'll be on fire. So I would tell you, if you have the opportunity to go to Dallas and it can be within what you do, go. If you're thinking about it, go. If you didn't think about it, you don't think you want to go, go. I'm just going to tell you to go because everybody I talk to that I care about, that I have passion for, that I love, has told me to go. So I'm only sharing with you exactly what was shared with me. Go.
Man, you got it. You got it down, don't you? I'll tell you what. I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to get Alistair Edwards set up as a speaker on the panel. But thank you for that because you said what I couldn't say. But you nailed one thing that I truly believe in because I've watched over 2 decades, being at every event, many of those with you, sir. That I get the most excited to spend time with the people that are in the rooms I'm in. And I feel a bond tighter. But listen, we have people that we work with all over the country. And for 3 years, all we had was Zoom. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that we should get so complacent to assume that because for 3 years, all we had is Zoom, that redefines 51 years of who we are, because it doesn't. And now we're back in these rooms together. Sonora Danzo always says, you got to be in the room. Johnny Jones says, you got to be in the room. I don't know. Anybody can say it any better than that. So thank you again, sir. And
before that, one last thing.
Yes,
one
sir.
last thing I'll say. Everybody in here, I'm assuming, is a leader. As a leader, you must go because you're leading troops. How can you influence anybody on your team if you're not actually present there? As a leader, you must show up so that you know how to lead your team when you come back. That's part of leadership.
Absolutely. Hey, you got it. And so we're gonna, Mr. Jones, we're gonna let you get back to what you do. When you do so well, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you in Dallas. And now I want to introduce Mr. Alistair Edwards as well, because we've got a tight time frame. We want to hear from everybody and get you back into the field. But this gentleman is a $300,000 ring earner, a millionaire club member. He is the person that oversees the entire, and he'll probably tell this better than I will, entire field training operation in the southeast of the United States, and is influential in the entire field training operation across the entire map. So Mr. Alistair Edwards is not only someone who's very accomplished in bringing these protections to Main Street USA, to the employees and the families of those employees, but also has become an influencer within this company for all of the things he does and says. He gave the keynote at our executive director banquet in Charlotte at the International Convention. It's just phenomenal to be in unison with like-minded people that are out there doing the work of our founder, Mr. Harlan Stonecipher. Mr. Edwards, we're so grateful to have you here, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, you sound great.
First of all, let me apologize for being tardy. I had an emergency situation pop up that I had to take care of, but I'm here, right? So first of all, let me say what an honor it is to be on your call. And to those that are listening in, I hope you hear me when I say you are blessed to be under the mentorship of this gentleman who over the past 2 years I've gained so much respect for. And what I love most about Mr. Tanner is his passion for Legal Shield. The thing that got me excited about Legal Shield in 2003 was Mr. Stonecipher's closing speech. I was in when I saw the product. The product made sense to me. I needed to get a will done. My frat brother was ready to charge me $500. That was his discounted rate as an attorney. And then I see this presentation where we say we do your will, your living will, and your medical health care directive for free. It's included. I said, let me try free first before I pay $500, right? I was in a foster to adopt class. 2 of my kids are adopted. And I was in a class at the time with 38 other foster to adopt parents. So I said, shoot, if I need a will, I'm sure they do. Let me go ahead and do this thing part-time. First year, I made about 30,000. Second year, I did a little over 50. Third year, I did over 87,000. Fourth year, I did 114, which was more than I was making in my 6-figure career after 20 plus years with public supermarkets as a store manager, working 60 hours a week. And so I was sold, but it was my very first conference where I heard Mr. Stonecipher talk about equal justice and about how we can make a difference in people's life and making a living while making a difference. And Mr. Tanner exudes that type of persona. And that's why I've gravitated so much to him. I have a brand that I created, a t-shirt brand, and it simply says mission driven, not commission driven, right? Because that's what we are. That's who we are. And I think that's why most of the people that have success in Legal Shield have success, because even though we get paid well, it's not about getting paid. Like those that are in the network marketing space, their focus is on helping more people. Those that are really successful is those that are helping more people have financial freedom, right? Those are the ones that's really doing well in Legal Shield. And in the B2B space, it's those people that are more focused on helping more people get the services so they can be less stressed and live an easier life, right? The minute you understand what our mission is about, what our original founder's vision was about, and you buy into that, I can promise you your business will 10x. And I say it because when you come from a place of I want to help you, you're not concerned about what people think about you because it's no longer about you. You're not afraid to talk to people about Legal Shield because it's not about how you sound to them. It's more so about what they will get if they understand what you're saying to them. There's a difference. So I only came on here today to talk to you all about being mission driven. Something you probably have already heard about so much from Mr. Tanner because that's what he is. But I guess that's why we gel like this, is because that's what we're about. Right? It's the mom that called me and said, Mr. Edwards, I just want to thank you. Like my son, his 4th week at school, meets some guys, goes to a party with them, and the police pull him over, and he has no idea the driver has a gun underneath the front seat. And all 4 are getting ready to go to jail. Right? And he asked the simple question, can I call my attorney? And it was the opportunity to be able to speak to an attorney at 4 o'clock in the morning, and that attorney speak to the officer, and the officer comes back and says, young man, I just need your personal information. When we get to the station, we're going to fingerprint, do a background check, and check for warrants. And if everything comes back, you're going to be released tonight on what we call a verbal signature bond. And he says, well, what about the other 2 kids? The driver admitted it was his. The driver admitted that the 3 of us had no knowledge of the car, of the gun being in the car. And the officer says, it's fine and dandy, but I didn't speak to their attorney. Those other 2 kids who didn't have a simple $29 membership got arrested Saturday morning at 4 a.m. and spent 5 days in general population because they didn't have access to an attorney. And the one child that had this legal plan that I was blessed to sell to the mom was able to come home free that night. Can you imagine the stress of 2 college students, right? 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever their ages are, good kids just in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong person, who now have a traumatizing experience of 5 days in a prison with hardened criminals that all could have been prevented with a simple $29 plan that we get to provide. Here's the crazy part, people. Every one of you right now know at least 10 or 15 parents that have a kid at college that you have not shared the membership with. Like every one of you right now knows somebody who's dealing with a financial burden that you have not shared the Legal Shield opportunity with. Because you're so afraid of what they're going to think about you that you haven't even mustered up the courage to share the information with. What you should be worried about is what will happen if I don't share it with them. See, I say this all the time. It's going to be hard for anybody to build in Atlanta. Here's why. Not everybody in Atlanta has a Legal Shield membership from Alistair Edwards, but I can promise you everybody in Atlanta knows Alistair Edwards does Legal Shield. Because I've spoken to everybody, and when I meet people, I tell them all the time about the product or the service. Look, I'm only looking for 2 things. My name is Alistair Edwards, and I help people get access to top-ranked attorneys nationwide to where they can ask unlimited questions, get letters and phone calls written for less than $30 a month. I'm looking for 1, people that need that service or would see the value in having that service, and 2, people that would share with others, their friends, their families, their companies, that benefit is available and like to get paid a referral fee for doing so. That's it. Next, right? I'm not concerned with their opinion. I'm not concerned with, because my goal is to make sure that everybody has access to the justice system. I'm not asking your opinion. I'm simply here to tell you what it is I'm doing and what I'm looking for. And you can be number 1, number 2, or you can say I'm both. I want the service and I want to share it with other people. Great. How would you like to do that? Would you like to start off by doing it with your friends and family, or are you the type of person that would like to go to companies and provide it as an employee benefit? If they say I'm the one that wants to share it with my friends and family, then I know I automatically put them in the network marketing funnel. Right? So I start them off with the prospect video, number one, explaining working from home, and Mr. Self talking about, how to make your haters your motivators. Those, right? That's the funnel. If they say, no, I want to talk to companies, man, there's a simple, great orientation deck, right? businesssolutions.orientation.com, where they get to hear everything about the company, about the plan, about the compensation, and how we get paid to go out and share that people information. And it's that simple. Do not overcomplicate it. Some of you are struggling in your business right now because you're in front of it. You keep wondering, how am I going to sound? How am I going to look? What are people going to think about me? And I'm here to tell you, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the mission, what it is we do, who we serve, and how we help people. And here's what I need each one of you to understand. There are so many blessings in heaven and credits for you already that are already there, because someone you sold a legal plan used it for something that changed their life and their situation, and you don't even know about it. 90% of the people you sell a legal plan will use it and have something miraculously happen and benefit from them using it that you will never even know about. But guess what? That blessing is tied to you. Stop blocking your blessings, worried about what people think about what it is you do, and start telling more people that you want to help. And here's how I plan to help you. So, Mr. Tanner, I will open it up for questions if anybody has that. I was late, so you tell me how long you want me for. I owe you that much, right? So just let me know.
I think that's great. We have kind of a format here where everybody gives me their blessing to ask a question on their behalf, because as I might have mentioned to you, a lot of folks here are just launching into they have the desire to be a part of our business solution side of the house, open groups, enroll those employees. A lot of folks are just in the beginning stages of that, or they've made it through the beginning stages, but they're not yet elevated to where they want to be in their business yet. And of course, we have the elephant in the room, which is that we moved through the COVID period, and now we're on the other side of that, looking at our first post-COVID fourth quarter like never before. So the question that I'm going to ask on behalf of everybody is, in your role as a trainer of field trainers and a field trainer and an inspirer of those field trainers, I got to speak to your field trainers a couple of weeks ago, last week. What is it that makes this associate that comes into the field training program ready for field training? And then maybe the alternative to that is what happens when they show up and why are they not prepared? Why are they not ready for you and your other field trainers to make the most of that relationship? And I'll let you answer that however you see fit.
So first of all, as a sponsor, if you recruit someone or sponsor them into the business, I'm a firm believer that you have to be very honest with people up front. So it's work marketing. So most people go to a presentation, they see the money and they think, oh, I'm gonna be rich. But you're only going to be rich if you share it with people. You're going to only be rich if you talk to people. You're only going to be rich if you have your private business reception. You're only going to be rich if you go open up a group. You're only going to, you know what I mean? So we first of all have to be very honest with people. I hand people back their $49, their $249, whatever. Because if they come into my business and I say, hey, you said you want to do network marketing, the first thing I'm going to need you to do is create a list. And then the second thing I'm going to need you to do is schedule a private business reception. If they say to me, well, I don't have the time to do that right now, or I'll get to that next week, I'll say, well, let's do this. Why don't you go ahead and keep the membership, and let's not make you an associate right now. Because to be an associate, a successful associate, there are some required things that need to be done. And you're telling me you don't have the time to do the required things. What I don't want you to do is join Alistair's team, you do nothing, and then 5 years from now, someone asks you about Legal Shield, and you say, I did that, and it didn't work. And I was doing it with Alistair Edwards. No, that's not the truth. You signed up and you didn't do what you were supposed to do, but you're not going to say that. So to avoid you from having to put yourself in that situation, I say you don't even do the associate agreement at all. So before you send someone to a field train, I need you to have that honest conversation with them. So if they say, hey, I want to do the B2B area, you can honestly say, hey, I'm not the expert in that area, but we have an amazing field training program. And what they're going to do is they're going to assign you someone that's going to work with you to open those groups. What you will have to do when you meet with that person is have a list of groups, or at least some contacts that that person can go after on your behalf, right? So those are some things that I need you to know ahead of time. There is a 4-hour training, a basic training that they're going to ask you to do. And then there's an employee benefit certification training that they're going to need you to take. But that's the class that's going to properly explain the B2B arena to you. And then there's a video course that I want you to watch before all of that. And it's simply businesssolutionsorientation.com. And if you, after you've watched that, you're ready to take that 4-hour course, then we'll assign you a field trainer. But be prepared to work when you meet with that individual. Don't be afraid to tell people what the requirements are, right? I think we shortchange people by trying to tiptoe around it, thinking that we're going to hurt them or lose them. Well, we hurt them or lose them anyway, because we don't prepare them for what it takes to be successful. They're not successful, so we lose them. Why don't we just be upfront and honest with them up front? When you go hire, when you go apply for a job that says we're going to pay you 30, 40, 50,000 a year, what do they tell you? Here are the requirements. Here's the time you need to be at work. Here's what I expect you to wear if there's a dress code. Here's what time I expect you to log in if there's a login requirement. Here's the workload. What's the workload going to look? They tell you. When I hired baggers, I told them, hey, you're going to have to be at work. And if I schedule you for 5, I expect you to walk in at 4:45. You better be dressed by 5, punched in at 5 o'clock, and you better be at the front of the register by 5:02. And you better be prepared to say to my customers, thank you for shopping at Publix. I appreciate it. Did you find everything that you needed? And can I take your groceries out for you? I'm going to watch you 3 times. If you miss that, or if you miss that rotation 3 times in a row, you're fired. We're not even going to keep you around. Because what you won't do is mess up the brand of Publix. Publix is known for customer service, taking care of the customers, and our baggers take your groceries to the car. We know what the expectations are. My question is, what is the expectations that you have for your Legal Shield team? My B2B team knows we go out, we call on groups. Martavius Hillman, #1 group opener last month in the company on my team. I was #2. Farrah Shelley, #4. Nikita Tucker, #6. Why? We have an expectation. We know what the business of Legal Shield is. It amazes me when people say, I work full-time with a Legal Shield, but you don't treat Legal Shield like you treat your full-time job that you had prior to that. I know every morning I'm getting up at 8 o'clock and I'm going to check my genealogy to see who I need to call. Right? I know at the end of the month, there's a certain amount of people I need to call on my team, the ones that wrote a membership. I don't care if it's 1 or 20, I'm calling everyone that sold the membership to tell them thank you. Thank you for blessing a life this month. Can we figure out a way to bless more this month? Why do I thank them for the 1 and encourage them for the 1 they sold? Because if I encourage them enough, eventually there's going to be a month they sell 10. Are you inspecting what you're expecting? And then the #2 thing is you got to lead by example. I'm 20 years in, but I'm still opening new groups, right? I opened 8 last month. How great would your business be if you had 5 of you working just like you're working? That's the question you need to ask yourself. How great would my team be if there were 5 more of me? So if you don't have 5, if you're not going to Dallas, don't expect 5 people on your team to go. I've taken inventory. I know exactly who's going to Dallas on my team. Half of us are flying out together. We're all coming back on the same flight. Like, we've had that conversation. I'm seated next to Martavius, 2 and back. Are you the company you want to join? Not Legal Shield. I'm talking you. Is Jim Chandler the company I want to be a part of? Do I want to be part of the Jimmy Tarr Corporation? That's how you have to look at your business. I laugh and I joke and I have fun, but I'm very serious about the business of my Legal Shield business because I know what we do. I know the lives we change. Look, people could always buy groceries from Publix where I worked, or they could go to Kroger. They could go to Aldi. They could go to Walgreens. They could go to Walmart. There are 1,000 grocery stores everywhere. There is no other place someone can go get a reputable attorney for $29 a month. Nowhere else. You can't walk into any grocery store and find a manager and say, hey, let me ask you something. What aisle is the attorney's on? And just grab one off the shelf at a discounted rate. A top rank attorney, not just a fly-by-night attorney, a 20-year practicing attorney. I was in California this past weekend doing Super Saturday down there and got to sit down with Jim Penny, our new Sacramento provider attorney. This dude has 48 law firms around the country. His partner, who's also working with Legal Shield, works with Johnny Cochran, right? That level of attorney is what we have working for us, that we get to provide for $29 a month. And I asked him, why are you doing this? You're a millionaire. He has the #1 legal talk show, syndicated radio on over 140 radio stations across the country every morning at 9 a.m. and every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. He has millions of people plugged into his syndication. Why are you doing Legal Shield? And he had the same passion that Mr. Stonecipher said. He said, Alistair, people can't afford Legal Shield. I say, yeah, the average person. He says, no, not the average person. He says the rich people can't afford us. He says, outside of Legal Shield, he says, my New York law firm, I charge $1,000 an hour. But someone in that same state can meet you in New York and sign up for $30 a month. Think about that. Talk about a discount. He says every call that comes in, once it goes through the initiation call, I personally call them back. You're telling me that you can personally get a call back from Attorney Penny, the same attorney that somebody else is paying $1,000 to get the same conversation. I can get it to you for $30 a month. That's a whole discount program right there. That's a whole sales pitch right there. I could go to anybody in New York right now or anybody in Sacramento and say, hey, here's the good news. I can get you $1,000 an hour attorney for $30 a month. Because that's what we do. I tell people all the time, I'm so pissed that we say we should do 2 exposures a day. I don't need nobody exposing me. We should be doing 2 presentations a day. When was the last time you personally sat down with somebody and actually presented to them what the Legal Shield benefit is? I use my prospect as follow-up videos. Now that you know what I do, let me send you a video that kind of explains and shares with you in more detail. So if there's anything that you didn't understand through my flipbook presentation or my personal talk with you, it'll give you more clarity. I don't even have to answer for the question. Think about this. How many of you have put someone in your prospect? What percentage of the people you've put in your prospect have actually watched the video that you sent them all the way through? I doubt anyone on this line can tell me that 20% watched it all the way through. So if we know that, why are we so excited to prospect? And I know the company will probably be mad I say this, but that's just how I feel. I want to present. I tell my people, who'd you present to today? Who did you explain the opportunity today? Who did you explain our membership to today? Trust me, I love all the videos, but there's nothing more powerful than my friend Jimmy Tanner saying, Alistair, I found something that is changing my life. And because I love you, because I care about you, I want to share it with you too. You may or not be interested. It's going to take about 10 minutes. but listen to me. This is what I'm doing. And at the end, I only ask you one thing. Do you see value in it? And is it something that you would like for yourself? And two, is there anyone that you could refer me to? And if they say yes, I can refer you to some people. I can say, well, Jim, would you prefer that I get paid for that person signing up, or would you be interested in getting a commission? Because I've been getting the commission, and that's what's paid me 6 figures over the last 10 years. And I would love for you to get that kind of income also. You just let me know. Either way is fine with me. There'll be a small percentage that say, no, you go ahead and do it. But a majority of them will say, tell me more. Now I can share the opportunity with them. All right, Mr. Tam.
Yeah. Hey, just keep going. I got 2 more hours for it. No, this is great. Hey, I'm telling you what, Mr. Edwards, this is for week 4 of September going into the Q4. This is exactly the real talk that everybody needs. And I'm appreciative of you for providing it. I'm sure, hopefully you can see the chat. People are very appreciative for you to provide it as well. We're going to let you get back to your very busy Monday. We've got a few things we're going to do to wrap up, but we really appreciate you being here with us. And we're grateful for your leadership across the entire nation as you help us continue to grow this company. Thanks again.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate you for having me. You all have an amazing day.
Thank you again. That's Mr. Alistair Edwards, everybody. And you can just see again in the chat, your peers, the folks that you are building your businesses alongside of, getting this great information. And we're just going to go over a couple of things as we wrap up. Normally we do 45 minutes. We're going to go to 60 today to my next appointment, but stay with me because this is information I want you to have. But before we go any further, I'd also like to ask Brenda Wall to come on. Now, last weekend I was in Seattle and Portland and Tacoma, and she probably knows where I was last weekend. I was somewhere with her, and we did a decision maker luncheon, and I asked her to share some thoughts about how she set that up, because I want you to listen to this, because as Mr. Edwards was just saying, we got to get this presentation in front of the people that can make a decision. Sometimes that's the individual or the business owner. Sometimes that's the representative of dozens or hundreds of employees. But until we do this thing that we do, nothing else is going to happen. And Brenda, I think you're here with us, right? We'd love to hear your thoughts on what happened and how you set that up and kind of how we executed that as well.
Hey, Mr. Tanner, thank you. And for those of you that haven't met me before, I'm in the Seattle market. I'm about an hour and a half from everywhere in Washington. I tell people I live in a very small community, but I love that about myself. I've been a Legal Shield associate for 22 years. I've opened quite a few groups. I'm not nearly as polished as Mr. Edwards, or I don't do as many small business plans as Mr. Jones, but I've had a fair share of business solutions work in my business. I also have a network team that I'm growing, and sometimes I find myself bouncing between the two, and sometimes it's easy to get distracted. When I first started in Legal Shield, I joined an organization called Rotary. I don't know if you guys are familiar about Rotary, but it's a service-oriented organization. And most of my Rotary friends, we have a large group, there's about 110 of us. They knew what I was doing because at the time I joined, it was for my business, and I was talking to people and I was enrolling people. Well, 20 years later, I've gotten a little lax on some of that. And when Mr. Tanner was coming into town, and 2 months before that, Mr. Bill Walker, I looked at it as an opportunity to revive my solutions business. And so I did. I set up a luncheon. So first of all, you've got to have, for me, I could do the presentation, but these are my friends. These are my peers through Rotary. And so it was easier for me to edify somebody coming into town and say, look, there's a deadline. This is the date we're going to have it. I need you to be there. Put it on your calendar. So obviously partnering with somebody, whether that's somebody, famous in our company, they don't know who Jim Tanner is. I know who Jim Tanner is, and I promoted hard for it, but they didn't know Jim Tanner from somebody else. But picking that date that other person is available to help you, I secured a location. I had a flyer made up. I talked to other associates and I said, listen, you can come if you have a guest. I didn't want it to be a training for associates unless they were going to really use it and bring a prospect with them. I secured the location. I rented a really great place at a co-working establishment in Poulsbo. We had lunch. I went to Costco and got lunch and had a great presentation. Mr. Tanner did a wonderful job. I don't have direct results yet from that one. I'm still meeting with Chad. Jim, you did a great job, and he set up. He's got a company with over 400 employees, so he was very impressed with the information. But I'll give you the results from the one that I did with Mr. Walker. I had a couple who own a financial company, so they came. Since then, they have the $99 small business plan with a $15 home business rider. They have a family 4190 plan. Their number one employee has the 4190 plan. And then the only other two employees they have are their children, but they're both over the age of 18. So they didn't want them just to have the ID shield that came with the, the information and the restoration on their family plan. Each of their kids have a 1295 plan. So that was a small business plan, a business solutions group that happened right away. Another guest of mine that came, he's a small business owner himself. So he got the legal shield, the home business supplement, and the family ID shield. And then my third guest from the original one with Mr. Walker, she's in Africa right now. She's got a heart of service like I do. So she's in Africa. We've been missing, but she's going to bring it into her employees too. And she's got a handful of employees. But when you have that little bit of success from a simple luncheon, it reminds you why we're doing this business. Those individuals that we were able to protect and empower, it makes everything we're doing worthwhile. What I did too with the organization that has, it's Mr. and Mrs., 2 kids and an employee. So there's 5 employees at that place. I went back in 2 weeks later and helped onboard them, made sure that they had their apps downloaded, made sure that they logged in, made sure that the kids understood that they have Legal Shield with mom and dad and they have ID Shield on their own. And that to me was very helpful. I'm getting referrals from that company now, getting referrals. And then I'll throw it to the other side. Another group that I opened in July after Mr. Walker was here was a company that my cousin owns. I started talking to them in July of 2017. So they don't all turn around and happen in a month. Some of them take 5 years to cultivate. I got on a Zoom with my cousin's wife, and when she finally saw the information, before we got to the pricing, she said, I want you to come in. We need this for our employees. We need this for our company. So just be persistent. I think for me, when you plan something, then you do it and you review it, you're gonna get better. You're gonna continue to tweak the little things that need to do it. Somebody was saying, I think it was Johnny Jones, you have to fail. If you don't fail, you're not doing something. You're not doing enough, right? So maybe it's not a huge failure, but you do something and you think, oh, I could have done that so much better. I could have edified my speaker. I could have invited more guests. I could have followed up with the guests that I have. I had somebody who missed the event because he didn't put it on his calendar. He gave me a verbal that he would be there. And that's on me for not reminding him the day of. So plan it, do it, review it. Mr. Tanner talked about the fact, and this hit home so well, you want to be able to offer these services to everybody in your community and make, in this example, Paulsboro a better place to live. And that hit home with a service-oriented group of individuals that were there. So, Mr. Tanner, I'm so pleased and so honored that you came into our small town and that you were able to be that other voice for me. But it also showed me I don't have to have somebody from out of town come in. I can start to do this on a monthly basis. I can be that person for the rest of my team to be able to invite to. So I'll throw it back to you, Mr. Tanner.
Thank you very much. And a couple of things you had a cool spot. It was professional. It was what a business owner would expect when you invite them to something. It met their expectations, probably exceeded them. Yeah, you fed everybody. Listen, a lot of folks will come out for food, even if they don't think that they're interested in what the presentation is going to be. And you set it up beautifully. Again, you edified the speaker from out of town, and I know that you're going to continue to win with that. And I like what you said. You realize that you could do it because basically, other than I have my stories that are different than your stories, we were looking at whether I did it or you did it, it was going to be the same slides. And that's exactly what we hope everybody gets as we empower you to go out there and do presentations. And so let me, let's see, that's not the right screen. All right, hang on. I'm going to share my screen here, but I'm going to do it correctly. And boy, are you going to be impressed when I do it. Brenda, thanks again very much for that.
Thank you.
Uh,
And I'll say too, I had an associate, he's a veteran associate, but he's getting ready to start this on a regular basis about 2 hours south of where I live. He came and he watched Mr. Tanner's presentation. You know, he probably tweaked his own a little bit, and now he'll be doing this probably this Friday. So, you know, really kind of lit a fire under some of our associates in the area.
Very good. Thank you again. Thanks for making me feel so welcome when I was out there. Not that any place I've been, I didn't feel welcome, but as I've been home I've been telling everybody, out of all the places I've been in the last 12 months, I know that to Washington and Oregon, because it was really wonderful, and I can't wait to get back there. So thanks again for the great hosting job. Folks, I just want you to get if you have a pen and paper, if you have your screenshot thumb ready, whatever you're going to do, but I'm going to go through this information in less than 5 minutes, because I want to talk about this, but I want to make sure that we don't ever stop talking about what matters, which is going to include some training, because I want you to be your best. But first of all, I'm not going to go any further without talking about opening your first group. For those of you that haven't yet opened your first group, we want you to do it. We want you to do it with a field trainer. The company gives you all the clues that you need to how you'll best succeed, because the company said, listen, we'll give you $250 as a cash bonus when you open your first group, but we'll give you $500 when you do that with a field trainer. Why? Because we want to protect the brand. We want to give you the best shot at success. We want you to get the most success possible for the effort. And the way you're going to do that is with a field trainer by your side. Our field trainers are the best trained, most capable people in the field. They're not just top earners, and they are top earners. These are coaches and mentors that know how to break down complex things into easily understood pieces. And you want to work with these folks. And ultimately, what we want to do is we want to prepare you to be the next generation of field trainers. So don't look at field training as splitting your groups. Look at it as the greatest training and education mentoring program you could ever be involved in, and position yourself to be that field trainer in the future. I want to talk about Jamaica, because we would love for you to be there with us on the Jamaica trip. Now, some of you have already started participating in a variety of different leaderboards to be with us in Jamaica. This is just one of the business solutions leaderboards that started in July and runs through March. And I'll just put up this here on the screen for you. But we want you to be there. All expenses paid trip for 2, round trip airfare, all the fun, food, everything is included. And hundreds of us will be there on the ground together. We want you to be there with us. We're not just inviting you, we're imploring you to take this seriously and be there with us. And you see on your screen the ways that those of you that started this process in July can join us on the Jamaica trip. But some of you have joined the business since July. And so right now in the month of September through February, we have the full service leaderboard. And we're going to take 50 more couples. So you plus your guest, we're going to take 50 of you. And the way we're going to do this is we're just going to take the 50 that have the highest number of points. It's the premium from the memberships you've written, 50% of the premium from your business solutions memberships, all of the premium from your small business memberships, and we're going to multiply that by your total number of recruits. Isn't that powerful? At 5 days, 4 nights, all inclusive, Hyatt Ziva Rose Resort in July next year. We want you to be there with us. Now, you have to be Performance Club qualified. So regardless of what else you're going to do in September, you have to be Performance Club qualified to stay in the running to take one of these 50 spots and join us there as well. And as I mentioned, there's other leaderboards that people are participating in as well. This is the end of Q3. So this is the last week to qualify for these cash bonuses, up to $2,000 in the Ruby category, up to $4,000 in the Sapphire category, and up to $6,000 in the Emerald category. This is additional bonus money. This is getting paid twice. As far as I'm concerned, this is the company paying you twice on something you did, because they already paid you advance commission, and now they're paying you thousands of dollars in bonus money on the same activity that you already did. And so is this 10 cash bonus levels we had for 2023 that allow you to earn anywhere from $250 up to $100,000. By the way, whenever you say $100,000 and it's money that could go into your pocket, you say it like this: $100,000. That is a lot of money. Even in Boston, where I live, that's a lot of money. Gentlemen, when I tell you that the company is funding your business from day one, this is what I'm talking about. For yourself, if you're building a team, and I hope you are, Show them the way that the company is serious about you earning big income. And by the way, and I know it's the top of the hour, but by the way, what this does is it creates powerful additional cash flow and incentives for you to build a massive business. I hope that you take seriously picking up every dollar that the company puts out there for you, because they truly want you to earn these dollars. And this is not pie in the sky. People are picking up these bonuses. Also, as I'm wrapping up, remember that you, through the end of 2023, if you reach $3,500 in personal business solutions premium, you'll qualify for Sapphire Elite for 2024, which means you'll have the dedicated Sapphire support line. You'll get paid at the executive director commission level, regardless of your actual level in the comp plan, on 200 plus employee groups. And there's incentives just for Sapphires. And equally with the Emerald Elite program for 8,000 in personal solutions premium during 2023, you're going to have all of 2024 a dedicated home office Emerald Elite account manager that's going to support all of your needs, a dedicated enrollment communications leader, a concierge level high touch service, platinum level commissions regardless of your actual level on those 200 plus employee groups. It's massive. It's a huge opportunity. For those of you that were with us on Saturday, I was at a Super Saturday, so I'm going to be catching the replay of this. But make sure that you, if you haven't watched this, you watch the replay. If you have, make sure every member of your team has a chance to watch this information, because Melissa Peters took everybody through the new ID Shield experience. Now, 1 minute after the hour, B2B Prospecting Blitz tomorrow. Don't sleep on the Prospecting Blitz. It's fun for all of us to be able to make those dials together. Next, Employee Benefits Certification Training is this Thursday. So some of you are brand new. You've just gotten started as an associate. We need to get you registered for this class before it fills out. Mr. Mike Riches is going to spend 4 hours with you, teaching you exactly how the employee benefits space works, get you certified, and then get you plugged into a field trainer so you can start opening those groups, earn your $500 bonus for your first group open, start earning the commissions and all of the incentives that are on the table. And then also Saturday, September 30th, from 10 to 3 Central, we've got the CDLP class. Couple more slides for you too, really. We talked about this extensively. If you can be there with us in Dallas, be with us in Dallas. That is next week. We would love to have you there for October 3rd. Some people are flying in the morning and turn around and flying right back out because that's what their schedule will allow. This is at the Hyatt Regency at the airport, DFW airport, not Love Field, DFW airport. You can fly right into DFW. You can walk across the parking lot to the hotel and come to the event. And then finally, the following week, October 4 on Wednesday, we have the Solutions Expo. It's normally the second weekend of the month. I'm sorry, the second Wednesday of the month. But this time it's the first, because we're going to be coming right out of Dallas. We want you to get that information. So make sure you're plugged into that. Folks, thanks so much, Brenda Wall, Johnny Jones, Alistair Edwards, and all of you for your support in our Business Solutions Circle Up this week. We're going to have a fantastic finish to the month of September. I'm going to get you all back to it. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day and week ahead. Goodbye, everybody. Hello.
Hey, Jim, it's Dr. Rack.